Thank you all for coming. I know there's some repeat offenders here, right? That I saw last time. Thanks for coming back, and thanks to the library for hosting me, and also to Park Road Books, who are in Charlotte, who have brought books. If you would like me to sign a book, I do want to say that books make excellent Christmas gifts. Signed books, you know, they're easy to wrap. They're rectangles, right? Even I can wrap a book. So, and this cover, oh my gosh, I love this cover, and I can say that because I have nothing to do with the cover. I did pick the title. What my editor said, Karen, you've never written a Christmas book. I said, no, I haven't. She said, would you consider writing a Christmas book? I said, I might. She said, what about the next Trad Street book? And I was like, oh, gee, does that mean I'll have to go research Charleston at Christmas time? And, you know, because I believe in suffering for my craft. That's what I do. So I said, all right, that sounds like a good idea. I think that, you know, because this is the 6th book, we've had lots of different events and things that Melanie and Jack and the rest of the cast of characters have done, but they've never done Christmas together. And I thought, oh, that could be fun. Oh my gosh, decorating one of these old houses. And yes, I said, but whatever you do, just don't call it something stupid like the Christmas spirits on Trad Street. So never joke with your editor about a potential title because, yeah, you will lose. Once they get a hold, she's like a dog with a bone. When she gets hold of that, she's like, no, I've already told everybody here and we all love it. I'm like, great, that's it. Same with you. Remember the book, The Night the Lights Went Out? That's set in Georgia. Love that book. And I'd only written literally a chapter before I got the phone call from my editor. We're in cover conference. We need a title. I'm like, what? I don't even know what the book's about yet. I've only written a chapter. She's like, yeah, so we were talking about it. So I know it's set in suburban Georgia, blah, blah, blah. And I had just finished listening on the radio, that song, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. I'm like, how about The Night the Lights Went Out? She's like, I love it. I'm like, you're kidding me. So you'd think I would have learned my lesson. But anyway, so there we have it, the Christmas spirits on Trad Street. So for those of you who have not been, who are not familiar with the series, the spirits, that means 2 different things here. So of course, the Christmas spirit, which, not to harken back to the whole Christmas shopping thing that's coming up, but did you know that we have less than 57 days until Christmas? Yeah. And not only that, but there are 9 less days between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. And I think we should all stage a protest, whoever was responsible for that, to get those 9 days back, because I'm going to need them. Because my plan at this point is just to proceed through December as if Christmas isn't happening and see if anybody in my family notices. And if they do, I'm going to say, go for it. You make Christmas happen because I'm tired. So anyway, so this is book 6. It's actually my 26th novel. I know I started as an infant. My parents threw a laptop into my crib and said, wow, type. And I did. No. So I was 3 when I started writing and not an infant. But yes, my 26th book, my first book came out in 2000. This is the 6th book in the Trad Street series. Who here has read the whole series so far? Excellent, okay. Who here has read this book, The Christmas Spirits? Okay. Okay. For the rest of you, do you want me to tell you how it ends? I mean, I just thought we could just go ahead and finish eating and go and be done with it. And I could go nap, but all right, never mind. So, it's very interesting the way the series came about. I'd been happy writing my Southern women's fiction books, always about a female protagonist who in the beginning of the book is in some hole that either circumstances have dug for her or she's dug for herself, and she doesn't believe she has what it takes to crawl out of that. And the book is her journey. It's figuring out who she is and how to solve these problems. And I love the South. My parents are born and raised in Mississippi. It's where all my family is from. Although my daughter recently has done her ancestry and found out actually that they originally started in North Carolina and South Carolina, including, and we had ancestors on Meeting Street and Broad Street. It's very interesting. Yeah, and I never thought, everybody's like, why do you write about Charleston and the Low Country? It's like, I don't know, and now I know. So anyway, and we had ancestors who fought in the Revolution and the Civil War on both sides because my family can't decide on anything, apparently. So So I was writing my Southern fiction books, and they always have always a female protagonist. I love female protagonists. I was raised with 3 brothers, so there's not a lot there to write about. You know what I'm saying? So I write a lot about sisters. I write a lot about the South, even though I was not raised with a sister and I was not raised in the South. My father was with Exxon. We lived all over the world. The longest we lived anywhere was in London. But I love the South. It's where I spent all my summers visiting my mother's family in Indianola, Mississippi. And it doesn't get much more south than the Mississippi Delta. As a matter of fact, Indianola, Mississippi is where B.B. King is from and where the B.B. King Museum is. So that is the claim to fame to Indianola. I think they have 1 stoplight and that's it. They don't even have a movie theater anymore, but the B.B. King Museum is there and it's pretty awesome. If you ever have a chance, you're down in the Delta, you need to go see it. So that's my public service announcement. So anyway, I was very happy writing these stories because I believe that a writer doesn't necessarily need to write what they know. I think they need to write what they're passionate about. I loved visiting my extended Southern family. My mother is one of 5 girls, so she had sisters. She just never thought it important enough to give me one. It's okay, it's all right. And I loved sitting under my grandmother's kitchen table with my mom and her sisters, and all the extended female members, adult members of my mother's family, and they would forget about me, and they'd go into the wee hours of the night. You know, the men would have already gone to bed, and my mom and her sisters and everybody, they would be drinking their coffee into the wee hours of the night, and I'm like that. I can drink and then go to sleep immediately. And they would just be doing their Southern girl talk. And those are the voices I hear when I recreate my Southern women, you know. Things like, oh, can you believe she's messing around on him? And just, you know, the things they would talk about were just, and I hear it still. But so that's why, you know, and I loved, we lived in Venezuela, we lived in London, we lived in the Netherlands, and then we'd come, you know, to Indianola to spend 3 to 4 weeks. And I loved it. I'd kick off my shoes and run, you know, downtown with my cousins, and we'd go to the little drugstore, and the drugstore owner would know who I was. Oh, you're Catherine Ann's girl, and he'd give me a free Coca-Cola, you know. And I just loved that because I didn't experience that, you know. I lived I had a very exciting childhood, but I never had a home to come home to or to call a hometown. If you'll notice, for those of you who've read a lot of my other books outside the series, you'll notice that I always write about a character looking to find a place to call home, and how home and family can be defined in many different ways. But I never lived in the South until I married my Yankee husband, bless his heart. And we moved down to Atlanta, and we've been there for 27 years. So both my children have been raised in Georgia. My son went to Auburn and still lives in Atlanta, and my daughter actually went to Elon undergrad. And, College of Charleston. It was a Clemson College of Charleston joint program. And has a master's in historic preservation. And she lived in Charleston. So the house-hugging gene and the love of Charleston did not fall far from the tree when it comes to my daughter and me. And as a matter of fact, you might recognize, anybody here read Dreams of Falling? Okay, Guest on South Battery. In this book, there's a character. She is a grad student of historic preservation. And what is her name? It's Megan Black. What is my daughter's name? Megan White. Get it? So nobody would know. I love that. And also another character that's in all the series, and his name appears in every book, is Rich Cobelt. Rich Cobelt is the handyman plumber that always has, and that's my brother-in-law. I love it. It's just that, you know, you have to have a little fun in your writing. But anyway, so I was happily writing my Southern women's fiction. I love writing about, and all my characters are either sisters or only children. And I get asked all the time, so I'll go ahead and preempt that question, why do I not write about brothers? Well, I had a brother once in a book, but he was dead before the story started. And then people say, don't you think your brothers would mind? And I say, well, they don't know how to read, so how will they ever know? You have to understand, as a child, my nickname was Blair and Karen. Do you know why? Because all I did was run screaming from my brothers as they chased me with horrible things. When we lived in Venezuela, my dad bought my two older brothers BB guns to shoot the iguanas out of the mango trees. What do you think they did with the iguanas when they fell? They chased me with them, or put them in my bed, put them in my shoes, put them on top of my doors. They were hateful. I mean, and I couldn't be a hand model. See my middle finger how it's broken? My brother John broke that. Yeah. So I'm just saying, and now that we are all adults and we all have families, and we now have two elderly and ailing parents, who do you think is taking care of them? Who do you think was on the phone with the VA hospital and the audiologist on the drive here from North Carolina? Now I know I asked my mother for a sister all those years. There was a practical reason for it. So anyway, so I digress. So I was happy writing my Southern women's fiction books. I was gaining popularity. It was great. And then I started thinking about, what about writing a series? Because I cut my reading teeth on Nancy Drew. Yeah, right. The Secret of the Old Clock was my first book. And it was a librarian who gave me that first book when I was living in Venezuela. I was about 8 or 9. And I wasn't a big reader at that point. My father was a big reader of nonfiction. My mother was a reader of magazines. So really the only reading I ever got as a child was my dad reading me true ghost stories. That's where the ghost story part comes from. And who does that to their child? So I was thinking about, okay, what was it that I love about reading a series? Well, it's like revisiting old friends, and these characters become, and I thought, how much more cooler would it be to write a series? And then every time you go, start writing a new book, it's like, you're visiting your family in summer vacation again. And so with all of my books, including these, they're all character driven. So I always start with my main character and what her internal and external conflicts are. And then I start with setting. Setting to me is as much a character as the actual characters are. So I thought, okay, let me come up with a character and a setting. So, and these things always come to me when I'm not thinking about it, when I'm working on another book. And I was working on another book, and I'm taking a shower, and Melanie Middleton just jumps into my head. And she is fully formed. It's very strange how this happens sometimes. Sometimes I'll get like the first line of the next book. Sometimes I'll get like the plot twist of a book, and it just comes to me unexpected, and then I just work the book around that. I mean, for the time between like 2 books ahead of writing that book, the first line came to me, and that was, and I love it, it's one of my favorite first lines. The first time I died was the summer I turned 17. And I was thinking, oh. And I love that, and that is the first line to the time between, and that was two books ahead of writing that. So I have this character, Melanie Middleton, jumping into my head, and I know 2 things about her right off the bat. 1, she's OCD, and 2, she sees dead people. And I was thinking, where did this come from? This is so different from everything that I've ever written. So I start thinking, okay, her internal and external conflict, okay. Why is she OCD? Oh, well, I gave her a horrible childhood. So her mother abandoned her when she was 6, and then she was raised by an alcoholic father. Her response to that was to become, her childhood was out of her control. So to control her environment, she became uber controlling, and that's why she has this little addiction to organization and having things and being in control and having things just the right way. The other thing, because I'm thinking, okay, so how can I mess with her? How can I disturb her world? Well, she sees dead people, but she does not like that. She calls it a curse. It's not a benefit to her at all. And to avoid talking to these people, when they talk to her, she sings ABBA very loudly. Because why wouldn't you? ABBA's awesome. And for the record, people who know me and who've read these books think that there are a lot of similarities between Melanie and myself. The only thing I'm going to say is that I do own a labeling gun and know how to use it. And I also love ABBA. So that could be where that came from. So to further mess with her, I thought, okay, she sees dead people. She's not happy about it. So how can I put her in close proximity to spirits who want to talk to her? I thought, oh, great. She earns her living selling historic real estate because these old houses always have a spirit who need her help. So that's how I messed with her world, and I thought, this is great. Okay, and setting. Well, it's going to be New Orleans, of course, because this is 2005 when I'm thinking about this. And I'm finishing up another book, so I'm thinking about the next book. And I'm thinking, of course, New Orleans. I went to Tulane. I know New Orleans really well. I lived there for 4 years. Some of my best friends still live there, so the research part would be really, really fun. I thought, okay, great, New Orleans. Well, then something funny happened in August of 2005, a little storm called Katrina. And I knew that this story, and it was going to be 2 books, a series of 2 books, I knew this series had no place in a post-Katrina New Orleans. I would eventually go back to the Gulf Coast in New Orleans to write my The Beach Trees, which is set in pre-Camille and post-Katrina New Orleans. And I want to write another book. I do love New Orleans. It's fun to write about. But I just knew that this series could not take place there. So I had to think, okay, what's another fabulous southern city with lots of history, amazing architecture, and of course, lots of ghosts. And of course, I thought of Charleston. So, and it's kind of serendipitous because I can't imagine this series taking place in any other city. And so I wrote the first book. My editor at first was a little wary that she didn't think that people who had read my other books would want to read these and vice versa, but it's been a lovely crossover audience. Who here discovered Karen White books from the Trad Street series? Okay, and then have you gone over to read some of the other ones? Yeah, see, it's a lovely crossover little audience. So, and if you haven't, you should. I'm just saying. You're missing out. Okay, okay. I call my Trad Street books my palate cleanser because my other books are still very character-driven and Southern. The Trad Street books have a little more humor, but it's kind of, as a matter of, my editor thought when the first Trad Street book was about to be published, they were considering changing my name because they thought people who read the other books wouldn't, it would be too different. And when she read it, she's like, no, this is still very much a Karen White book. Meaning character-driven. The other stuff that's going on, the mysteries, the history, all of that is still, that's just dressing, but it's still all about Melanie and her growth and change or whatever. So in the very first book, in The House on Trad Street, and by the way, I do write each book so that it could be read out of sequence, but I think the charm of these books is the characters. And when you meet them in the first book and you see how they grow and change and evolve throughout the series, I think that is the real, and I think if you talk to people who have read the whole series, I've never met anybody who disagreed with that. So I see a lot of nodding heads. So yes, you can. I think you get more enjoyment if you start with book 1 and go through the series. And Happily Park Road Books has brought book 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's a big, you just put them in a box and wrap that, and put it to yourself under the tree. I do that a lot because everybody forgets to buy Christmas presents for mom. But that's okay. That's okay. The dogs do, but. Speaking of which, the dogs, who gets my newsletter? Okay, so you get pictures of my dog. So for those of you who want pictures of my dogs and other fun, cool book stuff and whatever, please sign up for my mailing list. It'll be on the signing table in the back. Very easy. I very handy dandy brought it so y'all could sign up. Because you don't want to miss the cute recipes, the book recommendations, and of course the pictures of my dogs, including the one of my dog dressed up as a UPS man, which is really adorable. I have 2 Havanese. And the Quincy, the oldest one, is generally in the book. So you can get, because I know you'll want a visual of what generally looks like. So, because I got Quincy when I first started writing this book, and he was tethered to me as I was training him, and he's looking at me all day, and I'm looking at him all day. I'm like, you need to be in the book. So in the very first book, The House on Trad Street, Melanie goes to visit a prospective client, hoping to get the listing for his rather rundown but very valuable real estate at 55 Trad Street. Who here has looked for 55 Trad Street? Of course, there's always at least one. Yeah, oh, go ahead, yeah. It doesn't exist, as you probably guess, because I didn't want to get sued by all these people, The picture of the house on the cover, that house is a real house on Trad Street, but it's not that number. The house pictured on Montague Street book, that's made up. The house on Legree Street is made up. On Montague Street, that is an actual house, but it's on King Street. And the house pictured on South Battery is actually on Orange Street. And I was doing an event at the Library Society in Charleston, and well-dressed gentleman raised his hand. He said, "Do you know where this house is?" I said, "Yes, it's on Orange Street." He's like, "I know, it's number 7. I lived there for 25 years. And he appreciated me putting it on another street, you know, so. But anyway, so Melanie goes to get this listing, and she meets the elderly man, Mr. Nevin Vandross. But as she goes to meet him, she looks in the garden, she sees the ghost of a woman who's dressed in 1920s garb, and we find out later that is Louisa Vandross, the mother of the elderly gentleman. And he says to Melanie, "My mother, that you saw my mother," and she tries to deny it, but he says she only appears to those she approves of. So his mother disappeared in 1929. The rumor was that she had abandoned her son, and that's why Melanie kind of, you know, because she knows what that's like, abandoned her son and husband to run off with a lover. And her son never believed that to be true, but he was never able to prove it otherwise. So he sees his chance. When he passes, Melanie gets a phone call like the following week saying that Mr. Vandross has passed, and he has left her his house on Trad Street. And of course, every bad thing that Melanie says about old houses, I just have taken right from my husband's mouth. Did I mention he's a Yankee? And I know one day I'll have my house on Trad Street. I promise you. Just every time I send him listing, he actually says, you know, that would be a to heat. That's his comment to every old house listing I send, because he's mean and hateful that way. But anyway, I know, so why can't I have, you know, maybe there's an ancestor there who's about to die and is doesn't have an heir and is looking for a family member. It could be me, right? So I need to go and tell my daughter to start digging a little deeper. But anyway, so that's how the first book starts, and that's also when she meets Jack Trenum, who is a true crime best-selling author of true crime mysteries. And when she inherits the house on Trad Street, he is investigating the disappearance of Louisa Vandross, and also the whereabouts of diamonds last seen in the possession of a Vandross ancestor. So we have that cool sort of, that's why I call this series my Sixth Sense meets National Treasure meets Moonlighting series. Remember Moonlighting from the 80s? Because that's Melanie and Jack through the entire series. And then we have the backdrop of restoring the house throughout the entire series. And that's why I had to give Melanie, and again, I don't do plotting, pre-plotting, or outlining. My characters just kind of jump on board as I'm writing. And I realized that after Melanie inherits the house, we needed another character. So I have her, I don't know who this person's going to be, but she picks up the phone and she calls her best friend, Sophie. Sophie, who is a professor of historic preservation at the College of Charleston, who is the anti-Melanie. She's a house hugger and just everything that Melanie is not. And I love their friendship. It's really fun to write about. And I also love to describe what Sophie is wearing, the Birkenstocks, okay, you know. And in winter, she just puts socks under the Birkenstocks, so, which, you know, Melanie is like, oh my gosh. But anyway, so that's we meet those characters, Sophie, Jack, and Melanie. And then as the series grows, there's different mysteries, the relationships change, the family dynamics change, you know, her estranged mother and father come back into her world as you go through the series. So here we are in book 6, and I can't talk too much specifically about book 6 because that would give away everything that happens in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just know that there is a Revolutionary War history to this because I love Revolutionary War history and because of my recently discovered ancestors who lived in Charleston. And we already went over the title, and we're not going to go over that, but that's the title I'm stuck with. I hope you enjoy it. So I will we'll go over a few more questions, some Q&A, but I did want to let you know what's coming up. Who here has read the collaborations with Beatrice Williams and Lauren Willig? Okay, so that was The Forgotten Room and The Glass Ocean. My two best writing friends, and now we've become very, very close. They're sort of the sisters I was not gifted with. They're amazing authors. We were all fans of each other, and we literally three writers walked into a bar and And we decided to write a book together, and that first book was The Forgotten Room. It did very well, and they asked us to write another one, and that was The Glass Ocean. And then they asked us to do another one, and that is coming out January 14th. It's called All the Ways We Said Goodbye, and it is set in France. It is about an heiress, a resistance fighter, and a widow in France, and it's 3 women, all related to a mystery, all surrounding the Paris Ritz. Do we get to go to Paris and stay in the Ritz for the 3 weeks that we wanted to for research? And the answer to that is, when we asked our husbands, because they were all mean and hateful, they said no. So we did not. It's very sad, very sad. That's okay, that's all right, it's all right. When I get my house on Trad Street, we will have like a sort of, the men won't be invited when we have our little soiree, our Charleston soiree. But anyway, so we write the books. We have made a pact that 100 years after our deaths, we will reveal who writes which character, because even our editor cannot tell who writes what, which is very interesting, because it is written as a seamless novel. We each take a character, though. That's how we separate it. We do outline these books, because you kind of have to. And then we go to our separate places in the world, and we write round robin. And then because we, as a trio, we do believe in suffering for our craft, we'll go someplace horrible like Palmetto Bluff or the Gulf Coast, and we will, do our final edits or whatever before sending it in. It's all work, work, work with us. We call it ourselves Team W, because our last names all end in W, but we also call ourselves the Unibrain, because we do seem to have the same writing brain, and it's kind of, it's very magical when we write together, and that's why we do it. But that comes out, All the Ways We Said Goodbye, and it comes out January 14th. And then yes, I have a year off, not really. But I will not have another book coming out until April of 2021. It still does not have a title, but there is a character. Who here's read all of my books? Aw. So you've read Falling Home and After the Rain? Okay, so that's set in small town Georgia, very southern. And there is a character in both those books. She's Maddie, the daughter, the eldest daughter. And she's 14 and Falling Home, and she's 18 and After the Rain. And I get at least an email a week from readers saying, when are we going to hear Maddie's story? So this will be Maddie's story, but I'm doing a fish out of water story, because I've also always wanted to write about an American expatriate in London and set it in my building, which was this lovely Edwardian building on Regent's Park. Mick Jagger lived in the penthouse, and Joan Collins was my neighbor. I went to high school with her daughter, Tara, who I did not know that was her daughter until graduation, when I see Joan Collins, and there's Tara sitting next to her. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I heard she lived in the area. I didn't know that she lived on the 4th floor. So anyway, and then I realized they have a lot in common. It was like the same face. Like, gosh, I'm so stupid. Just not very observant, right? Which isn't good for a writer. You need to be more observant. But anyway, it's a fish out of water story. So we have, my mother, like I said, was from Mississippi, and I remember her going to the butcher and ordering the meat for the family, and the butcher making fun of her accent. Like she was the only one with an accent. Have you ever heard a Cockney accent? Which I can imitate very well. But anyway, so I thought, I just remember my mom sort of having to acclimate herself to all these different environments and living in England and all the different places that we lived. And I thought, oh, I really want to write an American expatriate story. And the other thing that inspired that book was when we moved into Harley House, which is the name of the building. I remembered we had porters, and I remember like one side of the building, it was all plain glass windows. On the other side of the building, there were all these beautiful leaded glass bay windows with transoms. And I asked the porter, I said, why are, is this like this? And he said, oh, during the Blitz, they were bombed out. And I was thinking, oh my gosh. And that started my love affair with old houses, because that was a piece of history I could hold in my hands. That was something, it was a witness to like an amazing and terrifying and horrifying time of history. And I was living there, and there were people that lived there at that time. So I wanted to write a story about someone who lived in that building, and I do. It's a woman, she's turning 100, and Maddie, who's a freelance journalist, is being hired to come interview and write her story. And of course, as she starts interviewing her, she starts digging through the woman's past and realizes there are some big, big dark secrets there. So it was really, I loved doing the research. The World War II research was very difficult, but very fun. And that will be out, no title yet. I came up with a title, and my editor said, that's too long. And I said, so you've never heard of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society? And I said, okay, fine. And I should be careful, right, about joking about titles, okay? Because, Lord only knows what she's going to glom onto this time. But as a joke, and I hope she knows it was a joke, now I'm worried, I said, okay, let's look at all of the titles of best-selling books in the last couple of years, and we'll just sort of like glom onto them. So it's going to be the Widows, Daughters, Orphans, Trains, Summer, Beach, Christmas. And then we're going to put a dog on the cover. And that will be instant bestseller, like it will go to #1 so fast. So I hope she knows I was joking. I should probably call her and just make sure, because I don't have a good track record of joking about titles and them not using them. So. But anyways, that's all that's fit to print.